This is a special edition of Late Night Health. I'm Mark Alyn. We have somebody that I know is going to become a new friend of ours because she is based in Manhattan, New York, one of my favorite places in the entire world. And I'll need a couch there sometime, and I can stay in her office. It'll be great. And she's probably not using her waiting room right now. This is Dr. Jacqueline Jones, and her new book is called Medical Parenting. Doctor, welcome to Late Night Health.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Are we, as parents, taking good care of our kids right now, do you think, amongst this pandemic of COVID-19?
This is a really difficult time, Mark, for everyone, but especially for parents. You know, who would have ever thought that you would be spending 3 months quarantined with your children? I mean, on one hand, it's wonderful to be able to spend that much time with your children, but on the other hand, it's not the best for their social, emotional development, as well as for having them be out and about and stay healthy. So this is a difficult time.
We don't even really know what COVID-19 is. You know, there are all kinds of conspiracy theories. You know, it's man-made, it's not man-made, it's natural, it's not, all this stuff. How do we know how to fight this?
Well, I think we have to take from experience of treating other viruses that are very similar to COVID-19. And, you know, if we look at the way that COVID-19 is behaving, it's behaving a little bit more virulently than the other SARS and MERS, but it is very similar in the way that it is progressing. So it's not like the flu where, you know, everyone says, oh, I'm not going to get that flu vaccine because it just doesn't work. Well, the reason why the flu vaccine doesn't work is because the flu virus mutates. Each year there's probably 6 or 7 variations of the flu. That's compared to COVID and SARS and MERS, which really haven't mutated. There's only 3 mutations of COVID-19. So yes, when we look at the way that it's acting like viruses that we've seen before, just a little bit more contagious.
A little bit stronger.
Exactly.
Right. Are there many children coming down with this? I mean, I've heard of a few young kids who have died. We've heard of teenagers who have died. Here in California, and I can't remember the great beach just out, I think it's on Long Island, you know, this is a party time normally where the beaches would be full of, 18 to 30-year-old people just packed. Not a good idea, at least in my opinion, right now. How about yours?
Definitely not a good idea right now. You know, when we look at the statistics, only 1.7% of all the patients who contracted COVID were children. So children aren't really getting sick from COVID. And one of the reasons why they're not getting sick is because they've seen coronavirus before. The common cold is a coronavirus. So there's portions of COVID-19 that children's immune systems have seen before. So we think, 1, they have more active immune systems, and 2, their bodies have seen portions of coronaviruses before. So when they're exposed to COVID-19, their immune system says, I'm just going to click into action and fight this right off. Whereas older people, 1, our immune systems don't react as quickly, and 2, we don't get exposed and we're not sick as much as younger children are.
So having colds could help fight the virus?
Well, you, Mark, in your show, I know, talk a lot about how important the immune system is.
Right.
And how we need to boost it. And one of the ways that we have to boost it is by exposure and by not treating every cold with an antibiotic. And one of the things that we found with, you know, all of us being isolated is our immune systems are not going to be as healthy when we come out of this as they were before we went into this, because we're just not exposing ourselves to any germs. That's the other thing I worry about, the amount of sanitizers that's out there in the environment. It's killing all the healthy germs in addition to the bad ones.
In your practice, do you suggest the flu vaccine for people or not? Or
I think the flu vaccine is a personal preference. Obviously, going forward, we all need to get the flu vaccine. And that is because if you get a fever in the fall, it's going to be difficult to distinguish between COVID-19 and the flu. So we really need to prevent people from getting the flu so it can be more obvious for if you do get a fever that you need to be concerned about it. So right now I am really pushing everybody to get the flu vaccine.
all right. So I'm going to drop the Dr. Jones and talk to Jackie now. Okay. When was the last time you had the flu vaccine?
Well, as healthcare providers, we're required to have the flu vaccine every year. So yeah, I get the flu vaccine every year because if I don't, I can't really see patients. So, but I didn't get the flu vaccine up until it was mandated.
Got it.
Because while I do believe in essential vaccinations, I think that it's important for the immune system to become strong and be able to be exposed to things and be able to fight off things. So I don't routinely, or I didn't routinely, when I was in my prime, get a lot of vaccinations. But this is a time when we really need to follow guidelines and get that flu vaccine.
You're still in your prime. Parents come to you and they say, Billy has a cold, give him an antibiotic. And you say, no, give Billy an antibiotic. You've got 6 minutes, 7 minutes to spend with your patient. And you finally go, oh, all right, nurse, give him an antibiotic. That's something that a lot of doctors do. And it's because they're being pressured. We know that colds are viral. At least most of them, and the antibiotic that they, cuts the good flora and fauna in our intestines and all of that. When are people going to learn about this? I mean, this is all related to boosting one's immune system.
It's such a great question. And, I found in my practice that parents are less likely to ask for antibiotics as compared to perhaps 5 to 10 years ago. I think the general population is becoming more educated about the downsides of antibiotics. And one of the things that I need to do as a physician is I need to give parents alternatives to antibiotics. I think parents become frustrated when their children are sick and they come to the doctor and the doctor says, oh, there's nothing I can do. There's things that we can do to help to boost the immune system, to clear up the congestion, to decrease the secretions without giving antibiotics. So yeah, it's coming into the office and having a conversation with parents about, A, what can we do right now to make your child feel better? And 2, what can we do to boost their immune system so they aren't getting sick as often? And that's a conversation and a partnership that I need to have with my patients.
And that's part of what medical parenting is all about, isn't it? Boosting your your immune system.
And the other thing is forming a partnership with your physician so that you're both on the same page. So that when you go into the doctor's office, you've already developed a relationship with that physician. So you understand each other. And if they say, no, it really isn't the best thing for you to have an antibiotic right now, you feel comfortable that your physician understands where you're coming from. That you have to go to work and your kid has to go to school and you want something to make them feel better quickly. Well, we can do that together without giving antibiotics.
I've got to tell you this old joke, okay? Patient goes into the doctor and he goes like this, Doc, it hurts when I do this. You know the answer, right?
Of course. Don't do that.
Don't do that. But that was last century. What people don't seem to do, and we try to teach people here at Late Night Health to do, is to say, Doc, why does that hurt? Do you get upset when patients ask you questions or say, gee, I looked this up on the internet? Because a lot of doctors, especially older ones, and you've got another 40 years to go to that, a lot of doctors will say things like, what, you have a medical degree from the internet? I'm the doctor, I'm in charge. And what you said just really impresses me because we need you out here. Manhattan is quiet right now. So we need you out here in Southern California because it should be a partnership, as you said. You know, if somebody says, I really don't want to take a drug, I need a supplement. I want to take vitamin D. I want to do exercise. I want to do something other than taking something from big pharma.
Absolutely. And that's something that I try and develop with my patients, so that I try and be more proactive with my patients so that we have them on supplements. They're thinking about their gut health, which is one of the major sources of immunity in our body. We're acting together so that they aren't becoming sick as frequently. And when they do get sick, hopefully it isn't as bad. And, you know, I try and discourage people from going on the internet to diagnose themselves, because if you put in, you know, neck mass, the first thing that comes up on the internet is cancer, when, you know, 9 times out of 10, it's maybe a little lymph node swelling. So the internet is not your friend 9 times out of 10. Once you have a diagnosis from a doctor, then you can go to the internet and sort of study that thing. But diagnosing yourself on the internet is never a good thing. So that's where the partnership comes in. Come in, talk to me about your concerns so that we can get to the underlying problem and fix it together.
Would you call yourself an integrative physician rather than an allopathic physician? You're smiling at me.
You know, it's really is funny, because the longer that I practice medicine, and I've been practicing now for almost 30 years, the more that I do look at integrative medicine as a really important component of keeping my patients healthy. And, you know, when I first came out of medical school, and, you know, when did I graduate from medical school? 1984, we would never, ever, ever talk about supplementation. You know, pharmacology was, you know, absolutely about all the big pharma drugs. But now medical students are exposed a little bit more to more, you know, supplements and natural medications, and ways to look at the immune system and the body in a more holistic fashion. So yes, I think I am becoming much more of I say a well-rounded physician.
Okay, I'm going to write that one down. One of the things that bothers me is that when you go to a physician, and I know somebody just went, they had a blood test, and there was a little bump in the blood test in an area. And when I looked it up, and I again, I'm not a doctor, folks. Don't ask me, ask her, but don't ask me. I suggested vitamin D, and I was poo-pooed. So I came back, I looked at more, and it wasn't me, but it was, and vitamin D and this situation are absolutely related. Doctors today still don't get enough nutritional education. I have so many friends who have master's degrees in nutrition, and they butt heads with traditional docs. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, it really is a shortfalling in traditional, what we call traditional medicine, that we aren't taught in medical school more about ways to look at the body's building blocks, really. I mean, that's what I think of as supplements and vitamins, as some of the building blocks to keep our body healthy. And when those are out of alignment, you know, so many things can fall out of alignment. So, you know, I've had to really teach myself through, you know, finding a really good source. Like, I have a wonderful pharmacist, a natural pharmacist who I consider a real partner for me. So I'll call him up and I'll say, hey, Dave, you know, I was thinking about using this. What else do you think I could use? And we really work together to find what the best supplementation is for my patients, because it's difficult as a physician to know all there is about traditional medicine as well as all there is to know about supplements. So I'm learning, but I find having good partnership is really, really essential for me.
That is a terrific way of doing it. I think that one of the things that, I guess a lot of things bother me, maybe I need a psychiatrist. Well, another story, is that many of the doctors who are being featured on the news say you cannot boost your immune system, including the big guy, that you can't do it. It bothers me a lot.
Well, that bothers me a lot too, because you and I both know that there's lots of ways to boost your immune system. And one of the primary ways is diet. it would be wonderful if we could all eat really well-rounded, organic, healthy diets, and then we wouldn't need to take supplements. But, so much our food is processed. We all work hard, and we don't always sit down and take an hour for breakfast and an hour for lunch and an hour for dinner and get 8 hours of sleep and drink, 32 ounces of purified water a day. All those things would keep our bodies so healthy, but in the world that we live in, it's really hard to do that. So the first is try to really eat a well-balanced diet that's low in gluten, low in sugar, that's organic. I'm a vegetarian now. I eat a little bit of fish, but mostly I'm a vegetarian now. And that was from my son. And he really, he's been living in California, and he's one of the ones who turned me on to really eating more healthy. So that's really helped me keep my immune system strong. So that's one.
He's an upcoming filmmaker too. We have to watch him, right?
Right.
As we wrap up, why did you specialize in kids? You're a pediatrician?
I'm pediatric ear, nose, and throat.
Got it. So my ears you can't look at my ears.
Look at yours if you need to.
Okay, thank you. We'll talk about that. The fact is that medicine is an art. I mean, if you drive in Beverly Hills, on the medical buildings, it says medical arts. I have not yet seen one that says medical science. It's and you have a practice. So you keep trying to be better. That's what all doctors do. Will medical parenting not only help parents, but other doctors be better docs?
I so hope so. Again, the thing that I stress in my book, Medical Parenting, How to Navigate Health, Wellness, and the Medical System with Your Child, is a partnership. As physicians, we really want to be your partner, to listen to you, to go through your journey of getting healthy together. So I hope my book helps parents as well as physicians, strengthen that partnership.
Okay, now you've raised another flag. Do you think most doctors want to do that?
I do. I really do. Deep down, everyone went into medicine because they wanted to work with people and they were interested in helping people. So deep down in every doctor who's out there, there's someone who wants to work with you and wants to help you. But you have to realize people are people. So, you have to sometimes, as a patient, take that first step and be truthful with them. Doctor, I'm concerned about this. Please help me to figure this out. And, I think that there isn't a doctor out there who isn't going to be able to do that for you if they understand what it is that you want and that you can get on that sort of page where you can communicate together. So much of what we need in this world is communication and listening to each other.
If you or your family members went to a doctor, maybe a specialist, and you're a doctor, so you if he says, radical keratotomy, I mean, whatever it might be, that's an eye thing, guy. You understand that. But so many doctors say, this is the way to do it. Well, what if we try? No, this is the way. Do you think that that's changing? Because that partnership is so important.
It really is. And I think that really is changing. I think that as physicians, and especially as good physicians, which I hope all of us strive to be, we want to present patients with options. Sometimes there isn't an option, cancer, that's really at the point where it needs to be taken care of more aggressively. An infection that really isn't responding to natural treatment. Those type of things where your doctor may say to you, I really believe that this is the way that you need to go. And you need to have that relationship with that doctor where you understand, you trust them, and that you can move forward with their suggestions. But, that's where we come into that conversation, that partnership, that understanding each other, and that our main goal together is to get our patients' health to its optimum level.
Well, one of America's top doctors has been our guest, Dr. Jacqueline Jones. The name of the book is Medical Parenting. We have had Dr. Jones's website for you. If you have questions, you want to take a look at the book. Is it on, I'm assuming it's on Amazon.
Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and now at your independent bookstore, because they're open again.
Oh, that's terrific. So you could find out more about her right there. Will you come back sometime?
I would love to. This is really, really entertaining. I really enjoyed it.
I'm glad. Hold on, will you?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm Mark Alyn. This is Late Night Health. Join us at latenighthealth.com, and be sure to visit us at Facebook and Twitter and all of that. I had one last question for Dr. Jones, because as you know, if you've been watching and listening to us, I am the nosiest, most curious person in the world. Doctor, what's for dinner tonight?
Oh, I am having a risotto, mushroom risotto that my son made for me, and I can't wait to try it.
Ooh, so he's back there in New York right now with you.
Yeah, he came home for a couple of days, so he's been, this is actually my other son who cooked. I'm really lucky. I have two sons who are wonderful cooks and will cook for their mother. Can you believe it?
It's my birthday this week, and my son, who is a professional chef, has invited me to.
Oh, you are so lucky.
I honestly cannot wait. And he won't tell me anything. He will not tell me anything. All right, hold on again. Listen, everybody, thanks for watching. We will be back very soon. Stay tuned.